BRICS was supposed to be Iran's big escape plan. A new club, new friends, a new world where Washington's pressure didn't decide everything. Instead, as the US-Iran-Israel war explodes and Donald Trump threatens 25% tariffs on anyone doing business with Iran, Tehran is finding out the hard way. This club may clap for you on stage and quietly push you to the edge, backstage. When Iran joined BRICS in the 2024 enlargement, the messaging at home was triumphant. State TV sold it as a historic breakthrough. Iran finally sitting next to China, Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa, later joined by Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, Ethiopia. A bigger non-Western bloc, more markets, more financing, a shield against Western isolation. If the West tried to squeeze Iran, BRICS would have its back. That was the story. 2 years later, the picture looks very different. The US-Israel war with Iran has turned BRICS into a stress test, not a sanctuary. Every capital in the group now has to choose between global South solidarity, in theory, and hard national interests in reality. Iran's collapsing currency, surging inflation, renewed UN sanctions, and domestic unrest don't make it a growth engine. They make it a liability for members who still rely on access to US markets and Western finance. And Trump's new 25% tariff threat on countries doing business with Iran turned BRICS's newest trophy member into something far more awkward. A cost center. Iran is technically still in the club. The flag is there. The seat is there. But the original logic has flipped. BRICS isn't shielding Iran from pressure anymore. Iran is now testing how much pressure BRICS members are actually willing to take for its sake. You can see that shift clearly at sea. South Africa's Will for Peace 2026. BRICS plus naval drills were supposed to be a showpiece. Russian, Chinese, Indian, Iranian, and South African warships training together off African waters. On paper, it looked like a dream poster for a new multipolar order. Then Trump went on camera and threatened 25% tariffs on countries doing business with Iran, explicitly name-checking South Africa. Behind closed doors in Pretoria, the mood changed fast. Officials pulled out the calculator. South Africa relies heavily on preferential access to the US market under AGOA. A 25% tariff on key exports, cars, citrus, wine, agriculture, would hurt far more than quietly downgrading Iran in one naval drill. Add domestic politics to the mix. Did the ruling party really want to explain to voters why South African jobs were sacrificed just to host a few Iranian ships on camera, while missiles and drones from Iran were hitting regional states? The solution came dressed in diplomatic language. Iran was told its warships couldn't fully join and was offered a face-saving observer role instead. On paper, Tehran wasn't expelled. In practice, it was pushed out of the core activity to protect South Africa's trade with Washington. One exercise, one decision, but a very loud signal. When the choice is BRICS solidarity with Iran or US economic pain, at least some members will choose Washington. India, as current BRICS chair, shows a different kind of distancing. New Delhi isn't out there publicly bashing Iran. It's not loudly defending it either. Instead, it's doing what Indian diplomacy is famous for, keeping its options open. Official statements talk about restraint, dialogue, respect for international law, soft words that don't clearly take Tehran's side or Washington's. India has a lot to protect. deepening defense ties with the US, huge energy, and investment links with Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and its own Indo-Pacific strategy that it doesn't want to blow up by turning BRICS into an anti-Western military bloc. So what does India actually do with its BRICS chairmanship? It quietly waters down or stalls any statements that would turn BRICS into an explicit shield for Iran. No strong pro-Tehran communiques, no big collective security moves, just generic language everyone can live with. It's a silent veto, and a big reason BRICS hasn't managed a firm, united stance on the US-Israel-Iran war, despite Russia and China being more sympathetic to Tehran. Then there's the enlargement itself. On paper, bringing Iran, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, and Ethiopia into BRICS looked like a flex, the global south rising, Western blocs losing influence, a new pole of power. In practice, it also meant this: Iran now shares a table with two of its biggest regional rivals, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, countries that host US troops, buy US weapons, and depend on US security guarantees while being directly threatened by Iranian missiles and proxies. So when Iran pushes BRICS for strong solidarity, who's sitting across the table? Gulf states that don't want a war with Washington, India balancing East and West, Brazil and South Africa, deeply exposed to US and EU markets, Egypt, dependent on Western and Gulf financing. For many of them, BRICS is an economic platform, not a suicide pact. They like the symbolism of multipolarity. They don't want 25% tariffs, sanctions spillover, or spooked investors. On top of that, BRICS operates by consensus. With 11 members, any one country can effectively block strong language or bold action. That makes it very easy to freeze out any hard pro-Iran stance. You don't have to stand up and vote no on live TV. You just slow walk drafts, push for neutral wording, or say the timing isn't right. Trump's tariff doctrine turns this into a spreadsheet problem. A 25% tariff on exports to the US is not an abstract threat. For South Africa, Brazil, India, the UAE, and others, it hits real sectors: autos, agriculture, metals, energy projects. When finance ministries run the numbers, discounted Iranian oil or a few symbolic contracts often don't look worth the risk of losing privileged access to the biggest consumer market on Earth. Russia and China, already under heavy Western pressure, can afford to lean closer to Iran. Many others cannot. The result is an informal split inside BRICS. One tier, Russia, China, Iran, ready to defy the West more openly. Another tier, India, Brazil, South Africa, Gulf states, Egypt, hedging and keeping Iran links as quiet and limited as possible. All of this plays out while Iran itself is economically bleeding. The rial keeps sinking, inflation hammers ordinary people, and renewed UN sanctions plus tighter enforcement on oil and finance have strangled its access to global markets yet again. Tehran hoped BRICS would mean more oil sold in local currencies, more alternative financing from China and Russia, and political backing in international forums. Instead, the war and tariffs are turning those hopes into a test of BRICS limits. Each member now has to weigh the benefits of helping Iran: cheaper energy, some leverage against the US, a bit of anti-Western symbolism, against the risks: tariffs, secondary sanctions, and damaged ties with the US and Europe. Given how the naval drills played out, we're already seeing what most will choose when backed into a corner. Will BRICS actually expel Iran? Almost certainly not. Formally kicking out a member would blow a hole in the bloc's image as an inclusive alternative to Western clubs. There's no clear mechanism for expulsion, and Russia and China would fight hard against anything that looks like obeying US pressure. So don't expect a dramatic "Iran is out" headline anytime soon. If you've watched to this point, here's your move. Don't just get stuck on the hype of BRICS versus the West. Start asking, in every crisis, who actually pays the price? If you want more breakdowns that strip away the slogans and show you the power trade-offs underneath, save this. Share it with someone who thinks BRICS is a monolithic anti-US bloc. And tell me in one sentence which country you want unpacked next. Russia inside BRICS, China's real goals, or the Gulf states playing both sides?